Hi, this is Matthew again. I'm going to do my own review. This is not a movie Meredith would care to watch, I don't think. So I'm going to do my own here. It's like a movie, A Complete Unknown, about Bob Dylan's early career. I don't know if, obviously, how accurate this is, or if, like, he had any involvement, or anybody related to this who was still living had any involvement. I don't know. It's a very enjoyable movie. Highly recommend it. We kind of start with Bob Dylan, who has just arrived in New York from Minnesota. I think he's about 19. It's pretty early 60s. We're talking 61, 62. I'm not exactly sure when it was, but he gets there and he's just kind of gigging around, trying to get people to notice him. And he eventually finds at a venue the folk musician Pete Seeger. Kind of takes him under his wing, kind of gets him some gigs, and trying to talk to the right people. He does eventually get to a place where John Hammond, who was one of the big record producers of the time at Columbia Records, who obviously sees some talent there. After some time, he'd been gigging around for a bit, but then he goes and sees him there. And, I mean, they've already got... I kind of wanted Joan Baez, but she kind of wanted to do her own thing. She already had a label already had a career going. She's in this movie also, in this, time period in New York. He does encounter her a bit at different times. They do have a relationship, obviously, but he does meet another one who is she doesn't tell him this, but she's a painter in her own right. I think her name was Susan originally, but they call her Sylvie in this. I'm not sure why they changed her name, but it's Sylvie here. And I think her actual name was Susan. But she was an artist in her own right. And actually, the movie is described, but there's a place where she kind of hides a New York Times article about her from him. And they have a very, very rocky relationship through the whole movie. And so much of it is just Bob Dylan just kind of not really giving a lot of info about himself. Which I don't know why he does this, but I just wonder if he kind of had a messed up upbringing, why he doesn't want to talk about it, or why he kind of invents things. I don't know. I never looked into him or anything, but they have a very rocky relationship. So many times in this movie, he finds situations where he has her come to things, and Joan Baez is also there. And he was also involved with her, and it gets very awkward, and eventually she just has enough of it and leaves. I'm trying condensing this. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but condensing a 2-hour movie. A very good one. The best part to me was just the portrayals of the people. Like, they really kind of seem like the person they're supposed to be. And especially when they sing, it's very, very, very good. In fact, there's another interesting person in here who comes along at one point. Johnny Cash. He even meets Johnny Cash at one point. That's very good. He's very good, Johnny Cash. The biggest person early on, though, he wants to see is Arlo Guthrie. I'm sorry, that's his son. Woody Guthrie. Arlo Guthrie is obviously at some point doing something, but he isn't in this film, so I don't know how old he would have been, what he was doing, but Woody Guthrie's the focus here. He had Hodgkin's disease, which I did not know about. I knew he visited him in the hospital, but I had no idea it was over years and years of time. From about 61 to all the way through 68, he's visiting him. He's just talking to him. He's playing guitar. They're listening to music, off the record player. Just all kinds of stuff like that in this movie. he really can't talk, but he does a lot of like, beating on the floor, beating on a guitar case to convey things to Bob Dylan or even Pete Seeger. That's how they, he gets in because Pete Seeger is seeing him anyway. There's lots of little things like that going on in this movie, all the way through, pretty much. Just very well done movie. I don't know how accurate it is, but people have complained, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope it's an Oscar contender. So there's definitely some people that should get at least nominated, if not getting awards for actor and such. Music is really good. Of course, there's lots of Dylan throughout and some other like folk stuff and other music all the way through the whole thing. In the background on radios and record players, and they did a good job with it. Again, sound guys getting phone rings wrong for the period. I think that also goes on in this, sadly. I remember that watching the Post, the same thing happened. But minor thing like that, I don't like non-period things, modern things in a place where they don't quite really belong, for sure, entirely. They should sound a little different than they do, but minor thing. I know they just pick from a sound effects library. They don't think, oh, wait, that ringer wasn't around in 61, whatever. Minor thing, but that doesn't take away from the movie, just things I notice while watching movies. But yeah, and Bob Dylan, he follows up with Pete Seeger at one point. Johnny Cash, I don't think he really does, but at least they don't show it here. But just amazing how just a nobody comes, from nowhere, meets all these people, gets famous himself all the way through. And, a lot of things go on, but the big thing, of course, to cap the movie off is his performance at the Newport Folk Festival in '65 when he goes electric, and people not really liking it or understanding what he's doing. But obviously, Dylan does what Dylan does, even now. And even then, he's going to do his own thing, and he did. And I just assumed once he got booed, which he does get booed, I thought maybe they kicked him off right away, but he seems to play like 2 or 3 songs, 4 songs. I have to check the set list on that, but I have not done so. I keep meaning to check that, but he seems to play his whole, what he was, going to play, and they just played anyway. And there's lots of other musicians that you see in the movie that, one guy just kind of was his personal assistant. He finds some other really good musicians. There's even a scene where Pete Seeger is playing at a educational station, and a blues guy is there, and Bob Dylan's supposed to be there. He doesn't come. Well, he's late, very, very late, but he comes in, and 3 of them are jamming out on some stuff, and the blues guy comes to other folk stuff with Bob Dylan and other people at these festivals. He started showing up to these other festivals, but that guy is a really good performer. I don't remember the blues guy's name. I'll look in a sec on the cast, but it's not someone I was familiar with. And I'm going to have to see if this guy exists, because it's just really good, acoustic blues going on. But I think I give it a 10 out of 10 for me. I really, really hope it gets something in the Oscars, just because I think it's that good of a movie. And I know people have talked about it, and it's had a lot of, I think, pretty good reviews. Maybe some mixed, I'm not sure. I haven't looked. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, this movie. Obviously I don't want to give everything away, and it's been a week or so since I've seen it, but I very much enjoyed it. For our cast, though, there's some really people I would never have expected. I'm not going to mention everybody. I'm going to try to hit the main people that I really thought were good. We have Bob Dylan is played by Timothy Chalamet. Excellent. I guess he's really spent years trying to get this to be like Dylan. But he's a really, really good method actor. Edward Norton was Pete Seeger. I would never have known that was Edward Norton. My brother had to point it out to me in the theater. I had no idea that's who that was. Elle Fanning is Sylvia Russo. I think is Susan Russo technically, but they've changed her name to Sylvia. I don't know why. But Elle Fanning is her. Ana Barbaro is Joan Baez. Again, really good. Her singing is very close to what Joan Baez would have sounded like at that point. And I'm going to skip around a while. Pete Seeger's wife, Tashi, is played by Riko Hatsune. She's in this a lot. Didn't know much about Pete Seeger, but he did have, as far as I know, Tashi might still be living. I'm not sure. Let me jump around a little bit to find who I'm looking for. Give me just a second. Oh, Scoot McNairy was Woody Guthrie. Very good, considering he doesn't really have any lines, but pulls it off very well. And then the other one I'm looking for is, where is he? I'm going to look at a few other people. David Allen Bash was John Hammond, just for reference. Joshua Henry is a guy named Brownie McGee. That's the blues guy I'm talking about. I need to look up Brownie McGee and see if he existed and has recordings, because he was really good. Well played by this guy. I'm assuming he was playing that guitar and everything. I don't know who. Joshua Henry's got any material, but I'm going to look these two up and see if they have any recordings to check out. And let me go find Johnny Cash real quick. He is played by a guy named Boyd Holbrook. He really kind of, from what I know, he really kind of acted like him. He really sounded very close to what he sounded like singing. It was really uncanny to listen to him sing like Folsom Prison Blues and stuff or whatever. I Walked the Line and things. He was so good. Just for a quick reference on our crew here, we've got, since keep it similar to what I do with Meredith, but a little different. Our crew here, let me just kind of get the main ones. James Mangold was the director and screenplay and producer. Jay Cox was screenplay. Timothy Chalamet also produced this, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Helped produce this movie. It was well worth it. Another producer was Alan Gazzomer, I think. Bob Bookman also. Peter Jason, Fred Berger, Alex Hyman, all producer credits. Jeff Rosen, same thing. Brian Cavendish Jones was executive producer. A few more of those. Where is do we need the writers or anything? Doesn't look like it. There's a few, ADR people. There's some other music in this. It's mostly other people's songs, but there was some music throughout this. Where is he? Trying to find our composer. He has disappeared. Where is our composer? I don't find him. Where is he here? He's usually more to the front. Oh, okay. No, that's not the main guy. I just see Nick Baxter as executive music producer. Not quite what I'm looking for. I don't see. I guess it's so minimal that they don't really even indicate his name. It's a lot of kind of mood music and like tension kind of stuff. It's not a ton of music, but there are some in here, but I do not see who wrote any of that kind of brief kind of tensiony kind of music. I don't see him. So I guess they don't even feel the need to indicate who that is. Okay, well, I did try. But there is a little bit of music besides. It's so much of it, as I say, is Dylan and other folk people, just other music of the time being played of all different genres around. So all in all, a very good movie, and I definitely go see it if you haven't. Catch it on the streamers and stuff, physical releases, digital releases, wherever you want to catch it at. I'm assuming this will go onto Hulu. It's 20th Century Fox, so I'm assuming, that I assume Hulu will get this. Maybe Disney Plus if we're lucky. If they merge all the Hulu in by then. But it'll be somewhere, and I definitely check it out, especially if it gets any Oscars. I hope it does. I really hope it does, because I think it deserves something, even if it's just Timothée Chalamet or something. But well worth a watch. And I will see you guys in another video.